tell her
How
that
does
she
that make
had.
you feel?
I have cried. Like it, it hurts me. And then like my health conditions and stuff or whatever. I basically I, I basically live for my kids. And I always put my kids before myself. And it hurts me that I can't protect her. That my little daughter has to go through stuff like that. And she don't even have her mom, her dad, her siblings, nothing there for her. And then like with my health conditions or whatever, I could basically die today, tomorrow, next week. And I don't want my daughter to be in the limbo like this. I refuse to die with my daughter in hands of people that don't even like me.
What's up, YouTube? Guys, we gotta get the likes up. Hit the pause button. Do me a favor, if you rock with the platform, if you rock with me, hit the like button. It's free 99, and I appreciate it. Now back to the content.
What's up, YouTube? All right, guys. So, listen, we saw some of her story last year. The long and short of it is that her daughter, who is 4 years old, right?
Yes.
You don't have custody of her. Your ex-husband, who not the biological father, according to the test that you have, your ex-husband has sole custody,
Mhm.
full custody. Okay. So, how you doing today, by the way?
Okay.
Okay. I think I might ask you to speak up just a little bit. I'm not sure, but it's let me see if it's my stuff over here. Speak up a little bit. Can you hear you?
I'm okay.
Okay, okay, that's better. All right. So you sent me a lot of stuff. You sent me a lot of receipts. I'm gonna
Mhm.
try to direct the conversation because we've spoken before and you kind of have a tendency to get off track and not answer directly the question. Okay.
Yes.
So let's just get a couple things down pat. How old are you?
I'm 43.
43. And you just had a birthday, October 1st.
Yes.
Okay, so happy belated birthday. And so 43. And so how many kids do you have?
3.
Three kids. How old are they?
22, 21, 4.
Okay, so the 4 year old is, huge gap, right? And you raised the other two kids, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, but for whatever reason, you don't have custody of the 4 year old. The
Mhm.
4 year old you had with um Danny, this guy named Danny. We're gonna name everybody just so that it's easier to keep up with the story. So
Okay.
you had the 4 year old with Danny. Danny's wife, what's Danny's wife's name?
He's not married.
His girlfriend.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Michaela.
Michaela. And then we have Sean, who is your ex-boyfriend, who is, according to the test, the biological father of. And what's the little girl's name? Sorry about that. What's the little girl's name?
Diamond.
Diamond. Okay, so just so we have all the characters. Now, right off the bat, you know, red flags are coming at me because why would the court decide to give full custody to the ex-husband who's not the biological dad? What's your
Mhm.
response to that?
I don't know besides the GAL that I tried to have removed.
Okay, so the GAL is the general guardian ad litem, not general, guardian ad litem, right? So basically, it means the court appointed person that kind of watches over the case and reports to the judge what their opinion is about what should happen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. So listen, we just saw you crying. We know that the emotions are real. Okay.
Mhm.
But I got some questions. I got some questions. All right. And you know, I'm an advocate for dads as well. Okay. And so right off the bat, it sounds like you was being extremely messy when you and Sean you were pregnant with what we will find out is Sean's baby. You knew that this was Sean's baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you, I guess, at some point during the pregnancy, got with the ex-husband.
Yes, but we wasn't married then.
That I get it, but let's follow where I'm going. So, and then you didn't let Sean know about the pregnancy.
Yes, I did.
You did or you did not.
I did not.
Right. So let's just call a spade a spade. You was being messy. You was being toxic. You was being that type of woman that we all are afraid of because, like, why would you want to keep, your daughter out of her dad's life?
Um, Probably because how the relationship ended. I intended to never be bothered with Sean at all.
Okay, so how did it end? What was it that made you come to that conclusion?
Um, Sean was very abusive also, and he was lying and cheating.
Okay, so abuse and cheating and lying, all that stuff. Got you. So I get it, right? But I tell people all the time, we choose who we are with. Okay, and so you chose them. I feel like maybe the better thing to do, and you said so in this letter right here, right? So you said so in this letter that the better thing to do would be to make sure that he has the chance to be in his daughter's life. You sounded regretful in the letter, so okay,
Mhm.
so you instead were with Danny, who's the ex-husband, and somehow, some way, a couple months after the baby was born, y'all ended up split up, correct?
Yes, when she was 2 months,
And why did y'all split?
because he continued to be abusive, and it was like a whole incident or whatever where he tried to pull a gun on my son and different things. After that day, it's a whole video that I recorded. After that day, I didn't allow him to be in my child's life anymore. And then I also sat my kids down and explained to them the whole process of the fact that he wasn't even her biological dad in the first place.
Okay. So I get it. And I empathize with you as far as being, a victim of, DV and all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But what makes you pick these guys in the first place? What is it about you that's picking guys that are gonna be physically violent towards you?
I think it's because how I was raised and I lost my mom at a teenage age or whatever, and it broke me. And then after that, it broke me, whatever. Then my older years, like my dad passed away. So how I was raised or whatever, my mom, she was like a person that always look out for people, try to fix people, this and that stuff. So I think that's how I incorporated in my life when I was broken. And I'm still broken.
I mean, it's a horrible situation. I mean, I can't imagine, your daughter being taken and you being told that you can only have supervised visits on Saturdays and stuff like that. So, but that's the end result of everything that happened. And as I look through all of the receipts that you sent me,
Mhm.
I recognized something that kind of reminded me of a old story on my channel, right? Where the court, it sounds like, had ordered some type of joint custody, shared custody, and instead you violated the court's orders and tried to move around and not be found and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Why did you do that?
I didn't move around not to be found and this and that stuff or whatever. I was in my home, and then I had my daughter that was with this organization called First Steps since she was a newborn.
So just
Or what?
because I'm gonna fast track the story for the people, right? So there's a program that you had your daughter in because she was a preemie that basically helped with physical therapy, speech therapy, all type of eating stuff. Basically helped to bring her along, and get her into a super healthy place where she can be super functional and everything else. And you voluntarily signed her up for the program, but then at some point you withdrew her from the program, and they used that as one of the reasons why they deemed you unfit. Okay, so just to fast track the story, right? But that's
Mhm,
not what I'm asking about. Okay,
mhm.
I'm asking, when the court ordered whatever shared or joint custody or whatever, why didn't you follow that order?
I followed everything until like they was trying to have unsupervised visits between him and her when I told them that it wasn't needed because he wasn't her biological father.
Well, right, but why not obey the order and then go through the process of removing him as the father? Because what happened is that you violated the court orders and you effed around and found out.
I tried to have him removed. Even child support people tried to remove him.
Well, I get,
Um,
but you're skipping over the part where I said you still were obligated to follow the court's orders, right? Because that's what happened to a story I had on my channel a couple years ago. Is basically ended with the dad having full custody because the mom violated the court's orders.
well, I wasn't going to jeopardize my child's life because you saw those text messages that he was sending me. He was, when they start pushing for him to have my daughter for 4 hours on a Saturday or whatever, by him not being her biological dad, he was threatening her life. And I showed the quest this, so I was not finna jeopardize my child's life.
Well, I get it, but look how it ended up. He has her for way more than 4 hours now, and you're the one that has to have supervised visits, right? So it's not just for you; it's for anybody that's watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to move strategic, because essentially that's what we're looking at. And then, so it's like, okay, I understand that, the court's orders were violated. That's what it sounds like was the main ammunition that they used to be able to order him to have sole custody or full custody. But I do want to ask you about some of the comments that him and her wrote, her meaning his girlfriend, wrote on the last video that I didn't quite, I guess, see or notice or whatever. But it looks like they made some accusations saying that, your daughter just showed up smelling like urine and, you know, malnutrition and other stuff. What's your response to that?
Just like I seen you, um, the text messages and this and that stuff between my son and her or whatever, as you could see my child's face. You could see where she says my child was fine, and she mentioned some puppy that they had too that she was playing with. Did you see all that from what I sent you?
Well, right, but does that address what I just asked about, which is when
Yes,
you
it.
when you had to hand over custody, was she like pissy and stuff like that?
No. And then, as you saw from the things or whatever, I never handed up over custody, whatever. She was never like that. They lied, and then they kidnapped her from my son.
Well, no, it sounds like you were ordered to hand over custody from the courts.
I never gave her over to him.
Well, right, but they was gonna eventually get her if that was what the courts ordered, right? I mean, you wasn't gonna be able to like keep her away forever. So, and I, like I say, I empathize with you, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it, because am I looking at a situation where you didn't do whatever the right things was, and he's kind of Like, is he being like a good dad and stuff like that? I mean,
No,
well, I guess how would you know though?
because like I sent you pictures and stuff, my child's face scratched up. Even he posted pictures himself of my child's face messed up or whatever. My child has been to the mercy room over 20 times.
Hmm?
And then she had a UTI where they documented, and then also different doctors or whatever had hotline, even CPS and every other person or whatever agree with me that she should not be in his custody.
Well, everybody except the judge.
Yeah, because the judge knows the GAL.
Well, right, but the judge knowing the GAL doesn't have anything to do with them deciding in Danny's favor, right? So I guess okay. A lot of people pointed out and agreed that it's just it's it's odd. The whole situation, is kinda odd, right? But what I believe Danny and his girlfriend was saying was that the text messages and possibly even the paternity test that you produced were false documents.
And it's not.
Okay, so there's no truth to that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So what needs to happen to where, because if it's and it sounds like he's the legal dad, right?
The courts keep making it that way, but
Well, that means that he's legal. If the court say it, that's the definition. That means he's the legal dad. Um, and real quick, because I don't think we said it on this story. I mean, on this video, the reason well, you said it a year ago, but I'll retell it. According to you, the reason why he's the legal dad is because you guys were married. Now, according to you, and according to the documents that you produced, you guys got married. Sounds like a couple weeks after the baby was born, and it was a situation where you was kind of on your deathbed, and you guys got married, and effectively separated a couple months after that. So we're not talking about a long marriage. We're not talking about anything like that. But it doesn't have to be long. It just has to be legal. Why do you think he is forcing custody of a child that is not his biologically?
because he's bipolar, and ever since high school he been obsessed with me. Um, it's like he want me to suffer and different things, and he knows the only way he could get to me physically is through my kids. And this not the first time he has done that. It was a other incident where he did my own kids like that. That's not even his. My older kids. He did a similar thing like that to them.
I mean, well, the obvious question is why'd you go back?
I told you, stupid, broken, thinking that I could fix something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, listen, that's fair. That's fair, and it's honest. Um, what needs to be done in order to get it so that you have custody over your biological daughter? Um, what can Sean, who is the actual biological father, what can he do? Right? Like, what do we do to move this forward?
I don't know because Sean he has tried to establish paternity to where in St. Louis you have to do like this. Both parents have to do like this big packet and play and pay close to $200 for. And we brought it before this same judge, and she dismissed it. And she said even when I went to court or whatever for modifications in custody, she dismissed it. And this last time she said, when it's a judge, her name is Johnson in Clayton Court, she said that she knew the GAL for 15 years. And she said whenever this case is brought before her, she says she will make no changes. She gonna keep on denying it, and she refused to sign off so it can be transferred to any judge, which is unconstitutional.
Well, do you have documented proof of her saying that?
Yes, my lawyer.
That's not documented proof. Meaning
And
you have recording audio, or you have written, either electronic or handwritten communication that she said that. In other words, what I'm encouraging you to do is stop telling all these stories. And it doesn't mean you're lying. It means if you can't prove something, then all these stories do is just muddy up your case. Muddy
in
up your
Clayton,
case.
in Clayton or whatever, when you enter the courtroom, they so corrupt. They don't allow you to record. They don't record themselves. You know how you see the normal
That's
setting in
that's
the
that's all courtrooms. You can't. There's almost. I don't think there's any courtroom where you can necessarily go in and record without permission. Okay, without
and then
permission.
they have a person right there that does like the manuscript, like that type where
Right,
everything,
right.
they don't have that in Clayton on purpose. So when you go in there, the corruptness or whatever, they don't even. You know how the people you go in the court and you sit.
So you're
This
talking
people,
about a stenographer. You're saying that they're a courtroom that doesn't have a stenographer.
yes, they don't. And then like instead of them, and you know how you think that the judge or person talk to you, the judge
Let me
don't
let me
personally
let me
talk.
just slow you down. Let me slow you down. Listen, listen. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Again, all these, oh man, they're corrupt and this and that and the third. That's not going to help you. I need you to understand it. That is going to hurt you. The more that you talk about that kind of stuff, it's going to hurt your case. It's going to make you look like the typical person that's just complaining but ain't talking about nothing. Okay?
But it,
In other words, if you don't have any proof or anything like that, you can have knowledge of it, but you don't have to say it out loud. Because
okay.
what you need is proof. What you need is documented evidence. What you need is legal strategies that will allow you to be able to get to the result that you want, right? And so all this stuff about how the courts corrupt, and you don't think people have heard that a million times? It has zero effect on anybody. Nobody's listening to that. Okay. You have to honestly do your damnedest to get in front of a legal expert in this field in family law that
Mhm.
can help you to unravel this web that you've tangled. And it I have to be honest with you. You tangled the web when you didn't allow the biological dad to just be there from just Jump Street. You linked up with the guy that, you admitted that you were broken and everything else, but it's still a choice that you made as an adult, right? And you linked
Mhm.
up with him, and whether or not, who knows how there you were when you got married, but you got married because he was the guy in your life, right? So this is all, and then you didn't follow the court's instructions when y'all were going through the court battle. So these are all things that you did, right? And so you're gonna need to talk to someone to help you untangle it. I'm not a legal expert, but I can tell you, I can almost tell you for sure that there's some way that you can untangle this mess. You just have to talk to the right person. So that's
Yeah.
why I agreed to do this video, because I feel bad for your situation and I want
Mhm.
somebody to help. Okay.
Mhm.
So on that note, if anybody out there did want to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way for them to do that? And if so, what is it?
People could cash out me at
So
dollar
before
sign.
before Cash App, let's go Instagram and Facebook first.
Um, my Facebook is Jennifer Robinson, and I forget my Instagram
I think
because
it's
my daughter.
Jen Rob 40 or something like that. We said it's the one we're talking on now, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like Jen Rob 40. I'll put it in the description. And then
And then
okay, go ahead. What's your Cash App?
email, my email, whatever I use that the most, which is jpebbles48 at gmail.com,
Okay.
and my And my Cash App is $GNJEN Sierra CIERA.
CIERA.
It's JENCIERA.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. All right. Well, listen, I'm not gonna keep this video too long. So I'm gonna cut it right here. I, appreciate you kind of updating us on this situation. I would have sworn that you would have gotten it halfway worked out by now, but that's sad to hear if that is the situation. And so hopefully somebody contact y'all and help you to at least just get started. All right.
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you, Pebbles. Okay.
All right.
Have a good one.